All right, we are back. We are back once again. So thank you so much for coming back for another day. Listen, we are already on day 28 out of day 30. Day 28 out of day 30. Can you believe it? We are almost finished with this, going live every single day for 30 days. We are almost there. Listen, I am Marshawn Alanio. I am a shift relationship strategist, and I serve and help professional Black women show up differently in all of their relationships using tailored strategies so they can create and cultivate beautiful, loving, relationships. And I say relationships because most people think about a relationship coach or a strategist, relationship strategist, specifically when it comes to romantic relationships. However, I do help with that, but I like to start with and continue to grow and nurture the relationship that you have with one's self, because so many people get caught up and they don't have a great relationship with themselves. And the truth of the matter is this: if you don't have a great relationship with yourself, how do you think that you're going to have a great relationship with someone else? How do you think you're going to be able to invite someone else into your world to be able to see you, understand you, respect you in a way? And all of that is very important. And so it's highly important for you to understand how to become a better dater, how to show up so you can start repeating the bad behaviors that you're repeating, and only start to repeat or start to build a healthy habit of creating and building and cultivating beautiful relationships. So again, that's who I am and that's who I serve. Today we are talking all about the evolution of love and what it looks like in a healthy relationship. So that is the evolution of love and what it looks like in a healthy relationship. Yesterday we talked about what did we talk about yesterday? We talked about let me look because now I'm confused. What did we talk about yesterday, y'all? We talked about, oh right, how to introduce your future desires early on without pressuring the other person. And then the previous day we talked about handling tough conversations, which is something that each of us need to be able to do when we are in these romantic relationships, because most of us did not learn the tools, the strategies, the information before we got out into the dating world. Most of our parents were too busy making sure that they had a roof over our heads and working and all that other stuff. And in our community, let's be real, a lot of people didn't talk about how to be in a romantic relationship and how to show up so that relationship is healthy. So most of us learned along the way. I am no different. I learned along the way. I learned by bumping my head. I learned by asking questions while I was out in the dating stages, not prior to, because I didn't realize how important it actually was to do just that. So you should have a better understanding of who you are before you start dating. So now let's jump into what the evolution of love in a healthy relationship looks like. We know what it can look like in a toxic relationship, but that's not what we're trying to put out here. Today, we're talking about healthy relationships and what the evolution of love looks like in a healthy relationship. So let's jump right into it. Understanding that love is a journey. Love is not a destination. Love is a journey. It is not a destination. Love is dynamic, constantly shifting and growing, much like the people who experience it. In the beginning, love often feels like an intense spark. It's very exciting, it can be all consuming, and for the most part, it's pretty effortless in the very beginning. This is the initial phase, often fueled by passion and novelty, which is just new, the beginning, right? It lays the groundwork for the emotional connection to occur, which is a great thing. But let's be real, as time passes, the rose colored glasses comes off and life begins to demand a lot from both partners. Love transforms into something deeper, something richer, and even more enduring. Now, again, this is in a healthy relationship. So if you're in a toxic relationship or know somebody that was in a toxic relationship, this will not apply. It's just the reality. This is what I'm talking about, will not apply. But in a healthy, loving relationship, it evolves into much more than just the fantasy or the fun stage, if you will. Life comes in and life's with all of us, and there are some things that a loving relationship it evolves into as time goes on. Healthy relationships are not static. Healthy relationships are not static. They require constant nurturing and adaptation as couples navigate through the ebbs and flows of, again, life. So it's not static. You got some highs, you have some lows. Significant milestones occur, such as moving in together, merging finances, maybe even having a child or children. All of this can shift the dynamics of love in the relationship, right? These changes often bring new challenges, more responsibilities, and less time for the each of you, which means that you have to shift the priorities when it is necessary. As much as you want to always be lovey-dovey on your spouse or partner at this point, and eventually your spouse, at some point, because the relationship is maturing, all of the lovey-dovey will go away for a period of time. Yes, it can come back. You have to nurture it to come back. It can come back, but just knowing that it won't always be 100% lovey-dovey, flowers, vacations, all of the things that was occurring in the very beginning. There will be more that comes with it, especially as you add these additional people, meaning your child or children, or it could be your in-laws. When you have additional people in your household, in your life, the dynamics of the lovey-dovey between you and your spouse shift. They shouldn't go away. Maybe they go away for a period until the two of you have adjusted, but at some point they should absolutely return. This is what a healthy relationship looks like. This is what healthy love looks like. It does not stay static. It definitely evolves over time. So, for example, as I just mentioned, whenever children enter into the picture, into your relationship, the relationship focus expands, not just with the couple anymore. Now it expands to the child or to the children, right? This transition requires both partners to work together as a team while still being very intentional and making intentional efforts to stay connected, to maintain their unique bond. Because as we know, anytime somebody comes into the picture of your life and between your relationship, including but not limited to your child or children, the dynamics of your partnership shift and change. This is where the teamwork has to come into play. This is where the conversations to say, okay, I see us growing a little bit distant. What can we actually do to make sure that we are staying connected and having those conversations? So again, the distance does not have to stick around where you feel like you are alone, even though you are in a partnership, even though you are in a relationship. Love in this stage becomes less about grand gestures and more about shared responsibilities, more about the emotional support that is needed during these times. Whether it's a child or children, or again, maybe you're bringing in the in laws, or maybe somebody has to travel for work. Like there are different life challenges and thing issues or things that you're going to have to plan for, as well as planning for the things that you are not hoping ever happens. Like, let's say, for instance, seriously, let's talk about it really quickly about the LA fires and just the fires in California in general. A lot of those people did not plan for the fires, right? Or actually, I'll just say just about 99.9% of those people didn't plan for the fires, right? But whenever life throws you a lemon, you have to figure out how to bring things back together in your relationship so you can get back to nurturing the partnership. After you figure out how everybody is okay, right? After you've talked to insurance companies and all of the things that you need to do, now you have to pick up the pieces. Life will always challenge you. Life will always throw you curveballs. And you have to be able to figure it out as a team so that both of you feel like you are in this together and it's not just one sided. That's the evolution of love. Life, understanding that life challenges are going to be there, and then how are you going to handle them? Having those difficult conversations before things occur. I know it's not something anybody has ever planned for them to be fires, right? And then for their entire life to be completely wiped out. Now, is this everybody? No, but this is the majority of people that are dealing with the fires in LA. And I know that the percentage has been contained, but as far as I'm aware of, they're still not completely out at the time of recording this, January 28th, 2025. As far as I'm aware, they're still burning. The point is, you have to be able to pick up the pieces. And maybe you won't be able to pick up the pieces right now. Maybe that emotional support that I was just talking about is something that you're going to really need from your partner. Somebody has to be able to have their foot solid so you can think straight. Somebody has to be able to think straight. Somebody has to be able to come up with a plan. Who cares who does it? But you need to be able to move forward so you can gather up the pieces of your life. This evolution is what makes love meaningful. This is what makes love meaningful. It adapts to life's circumstances because things are going to happen. There are going to be times where you just like, I don't even know what the heck to do. You should be able to lean on your partner, literally and figuratively, and say, what are your thoughts? What are we going to do? Somebody has to be level headed when life challenges are thrown your way. This is why we have to choose partners that are compatible to our lifestyle. This is why we have to choose partners that are in it with us for the long haul. Team. It has to be a team. If there is no team, somebody's going to feel very, very frustrated. The person that feels like they are doing all the work, that's putting in all the time, all the energy, all the thought process, all the getting things together is going at some point going to be burnt out. So it has to be team effort. It doesn't mean team effort doesn't mean you have to be equal in your thought process or in the plan or in any of that stuff, but it does need to be there so both of you can carry the weight and it's not just one-sided. Patience needs to be a part of it. Intentionality needs to be a part of it. All of these things are essential. This perspective encourages both of you to cherish each phase of your relationship. Understanding the riches of love lies not in its perfection, but in its ability to adapt, in its ability to endure, in its ability to thrive over time. That is what the evolution of love looks like and what it means. So here are 6 phases to a healthy relationship. 6 phases. The first phase is the foundation, aka the honeymoon phase. We talked about that a little bit, where everything is hunky dory. You two are leaning on each other. You're always together, maybe having a lot of sex. Like it's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the very beginning before life takes over. So the love is passionate. It's very exciting. The novelty is there. You're focused on discovering each other and even building something together, possibly. This sets the emotional foundation for future challenges as well. So it's the foundation. That's the first phase of a healthy relationship. The second phase of a healthy relationship is building the trust and the communication. As a relationship matures, trust deepens through consistent actions and open communication. Healthy couples learn to navigate disagreements and set boundaries respectfully. Another thing, they share goals, they share their dreams, and even their fears, which can strengthen the emotional intimacy within the relationship. All of this. The third phase in a healthy relationship is expanding the relationship. Maybe it's entering parenthood, right? Maybe it's entering parenthood. The arrival of children shift the dynamic significantly. And research actually shows that men feel neglected heavily after the birth of the child. It's not something that women intentionally do, but it does happen. Men usually don't voice it to the woman, right? To their significant other, but they have voiced it within research. So even if he never says it, maybe if he has an attitude after the child or children are born, and this happens after each child, where the man feels pretty neglected, it is true because a lot of your time, energy, and effort has to now go into making sure that you're nurturing this new child, and especially if you are breastfeeding, right? You are doing a lot with the newborn, and unfortunately the man seems to get neglected at this time. But knowing this information, you should be able to curtail that at least some. There's still going to be where you have to give a lot to your newborn, of course. But don't forget about your man at the time that he's born, because again, research shows that men feel really neglected right after the child is born, at least the first few months up to a year. So just keep it in mind. It's not something that's going to go away completely, but being able to talk about these things so he doesn't feel neglected during your newborn's birth, it's just a way to continue to deepen your connection so you're aware of how he's feeling, even though he won't say it to you. Because most men won't say it to you, right? But in a survey, right, during this research, they have voiced this. So it is a thing, even if he never verbally says it to you. Time and energy become divided when this shift or child, right, comes into the picture, often leading to stress or even feelings of neglect if not addressed. Was what I was just saying. Come up with a plan. If you can, when you know that you're getting very close to the time of your child being born, how can you plan to stay connected with your man so he doesn't feel neglected? Doesn't have to be a grand plan, because you're still going to be tired and you do need your sleep. But what little thing can you implement to make sure that he knows she's thought about this? She knows that this is a thing. Okay, I chose really great. I feel really good because she's already aware that this is something that happens. Okay, moving forward. Couples must work together. I already mentioned that. Teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. They have to share the responsibilities and maintain a united front in parenting. Even, and I highly recommend this, and I know that this is not the topic of not being with the father of your child or children. However, even whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, I really feel that the parents should try to work really hard together to stand as a united front for the rearing of the child or children, because children absolutely know who the weakest link is and they will use the weakest link against the other parent. Not that they're trying to do it on purpose, but some of the arguments and stuff that happen can actually go away if the two of you are already on the same page about how to rear your child. Now, if you're in toxicity and you need to just get away and you need to only be the single parent that makes all of the decisions, that's a different story. However, by and large, the majority of us, if we took our feelings out of the equation and actually put our child or children to say, okay, I want the best for them. I don't care if I'm not with this person. I don't care if me and him are not together anymore. This child is here and they need input from both of us. If we take our feelings, right, our emotions, our ego out of the story, then I think a lot more children would stop playing the parents against one another. And it is a thing. And again, they're kids, they're not necessarily doing it on purpose, but it does absolutely happen. So if the two of you can be a united front, especially when you are a couple together, but even if you separate for whatever reason, life be lifing, have a united front. It's going to help everybody. Like my child and I'm not with her dad. It's the whole point. But we are totally a united front. She'd be trying to play us against each other, and we'd be like, no, ma'am. Because we actually still friends. We just didn't work as a couple. And so she'd be like, but mommy, no. And we both just shut it down. We have to stay a united front because kids be playing parents against one another, and all of those unnecessary arguments can at least go away for the most part. Okay. Now let's leave it at that. Moving forward, staying connected amidst the change that is absolutely going to happen in every relationship. Share regular us time, right? I know we talk about me time a whole lot, but what about us time? How intentional are you with making sure the two of you are staying connected with one another? There could be some shared hobbies that the two of you could do together once again, right? Express your gratitude for one another and the family and the contributions to the family that he is making. He should do the same, but I'm speaking to you. Prioritize your physical intimacy and check in emotionally with each other regularly in order to keep the bond strong, in order to say, this has not been working for me, or this really has been working for me. I'm super excited that we talked about this before, that you're actually doing it. I feel really great that you heard me. And I feel really good when you're doing this thing. So whenever they're doing something right, you want to praise them. But that relationship check-in is something that should happen regularly. And regularly is going to be different for each person because of life because of your situation and your couple, and but you still need to talk about these things. So give praises when praises are necessary, but also address said issues. The check-in is for you to check in how you're feeling emotionally, how he's feeling emotionally, the things that are working, continue to do those things. The areas that you're still weak in, let's talk about how we can fix those if we can, but also if it can't be fixed right away, what can we do to make sure that the blow is softened so I still can see that there is progress being made here, right? So continue to give praises when it's necessary, but also continue to have those relationship check-ins so you know exactly where the both of you stand when it comes to how you're feeling about being in the relationship with the other person. The next thing is adapting to life's seasons. Absolutely. Life has seasons to it. Relationships evolve through life stages, career changes, parenting teens, or even caring for your aging parents. Each stage requires flexibility and a commitment to growth as individuals, as well as a couple together. So life be life, and there will absolutely be some some season changes throughout your life. After you have parented teenagers, right now they become adults and outside of your house, but you are still their parent. They may not come to you as much or need as much, but they will still come to you, right? So it's just different. And so maybe your teens are moving out, but then maybe your aging parents need to either move in or very close to you or in a nursing home, whatever the case may be. And so now you have a different life change, right? Menopause comes into play. Like all of these things are going to come into play where they're different stages in the relationship, and the both of you can start talking about these things ideally before they happen. But if you're in them already in this particular stage, then think about what can the conversation be. So especially those conversations that keep reoccurring. How can you get this particular topic off of and out of sight completely? Having a conversation and thinking about what the solution is to that conversation, and being able to take the complaints, but also take a solution with you. Take the complaint, but take the solution. You cannot just go and complain without a solution. It just opens up the door for further conversation. This is what a healthy, loving relationship looks like and how it evolves over time. Each stage is not going to happen right now. This is over time. You also have to rekindle the love after major events. Like I just talked about the LA fires. Those are some major life events for those people up there. Major life events, like their entire life has been wiped out. And most of those people, because they didn't think that their house was going to burn to the ground, most of those people didn't even get their most important paper. A lot of them lost all photos. And of course, we talking about clothes and material stuff, of course, yes. But then even the important stuff, now they have to pick up the pieces. And with the economy the way it is, not everybody has money just sitting around. And I'm talking about savings. I'm talking about life savings. So when major life events happen, you have to find a way to connect back with your partner, to rekindle the love, to rekindle the playfulness. You do have to get through this heavy time. Absolutely. Absolutely. The people in LA, I'm sure they're not thinking about the relationship per se in the way that I'm speaking about it, because they're currently in a major life change. I was listening to the news and it was talking about how some of the parents, the kids were just super ecstatic to be able to go back to school. And it, of course, it wasn't in their neighborhood anymore. The particular story that I'm thinking about, the lady said she had to drive 1 hour one way to take her kids to a new school, and then obviously go and pick them up. And will have to be for a little while until they figure out what's happening, where they're permanently staying. Because as of right now, if I remember correctly, they were in a hotel. This is a major life change. And this can present feelings of them being isolated or even resentment. Like, I told you to do X, Y, and Z. Maybe the insurance wasn't paid up, or maybe they never got around to getting insurance, or whatever the thing is. They have to handle this tough time right now. But at some point, they need to figure out how to come back and make the relationship strong again. Because a strong relationship models healthy love for your child or children, teaching them the importance of respect, teaching them the importance of support, and teaching them the importance of partnership and what that looks like. You're not going to always have it all together. I get that, because life do take you down a dark alley sometimes. But at some point, you have to figure out, how am I going to get myself out of this dark hole? I remember one of my mentors, how he puts it. He said, we are the ones. You are the only one that is going to be able to come in and pick up your pieces. It may take you a while to figure it out, but you can talk to as many people, whether it's therapists, whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it's coaches. You can talk to as many people as you want, but you have to do your work. In this case, picking up the pieces of their life. You can talk to as many people as you want, but at some point, you have to take action to start picking up the pieces of your life. Your relationship is no different. You have to start taking action, gathering the information. Oh, this sounds good. This is something that I want to actually practice. Let me see how this works for me. And then implement it into your own relationship, into your own dating life. So you can see how it fits for you as well as works for you. And I remember when I was actually doing this myself. If you've never heard my story before, I'll just make it really quickly. I got married and then I got divorced at the age of 27. And I jumped back into the dating scene about a year or two later after I divorced. The point of this story is, I was in the dating scene for about 14, 15 years. And I just didn't know what the heck was the heck. I didn't know what was actually happening, what was going on. But then I had to pick up the pieces. I had to figure out and ask some questions. And so what I started doing was reading a whole lot. I started asking a few of my exes about why we didn't go to the next level, why we didn't get to the next stage. I asked couples that were seemingly happy, how did they get to where they were at? And they gave me some answers. And truth of the matter is, just about everybody that I spoke to, as far as older couples, had all been through some stuff in order to get to where they were at. And so I gathered a lot of information and data, and I was just like, okay, let me now start practicing some of the things that they said that worked for them, because this sounds good to me, as well as the information and that I gathered from my exes. Why didn't we go to the next level? Okay, so they gave me some information. So the next time, I won't do this no more. Let me try if I don't answer right away, because maybe I'm coming off as super needy. And that was one of the things that one of the guys told me. You coming off as super needy. Okay, well, I don't want to come off as super needy because I'm, truth be told, I'm really not. But obviously he felt that I was. So we didn't go to the next level. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to practice not being super needy. What does that look like? So to me, it looked like, when he texts me, I'm not just going to just keep texting right back. I'm going to wait a little while, whether it's a few minutes, whether it's an hour, whether it's a few hours. I don't like to do the whole 1 day wait. That's too long for me. Like the way we all connected to our phones, that's too long for me. So I started practicing the information that I was gathering from these couples, from my exes, from the books I was reading, from the digital courses I was taking, all of the stuff. And I was like, okay, this is actually working. Let me do more of this. And what I noticed is, as I kept implementing the things that I was learning, I was just like, ooh, I'm actually not attracting that same type of guy that I started attracting, or that I was attracting years ago or even months ago. I started attracting more qualified men. The conversations were different. The date was different. The energy was different. So you have to practice, put into action the things that you are learning in order for your relationship to get to the next level. And again, it has to be the relationship with yourself first that you need to do some work on before you start dating, ideally. Before. All right. So, why staying connected is crucial. This prevents feelings of isolation and resentment. Strong relationships model healthy love for your children. You teach them how you teach them importance of respect. You teach them importance of support. You also teach them importance of partnership. This is why staying connected is so crucial. Love evolves when partners consciously adapt to changes, when they prioritize one another, and they nurture their connection. A healthy relationship requires ongoing effort. It's not a one time thing. It's not a I get this person and then I don't have to put in no work anymore. If you want to stay connected, you have to put in some work. If you want to stay, keep the laughter, you have to learn how to keep things light at some point. Everything shouldn't be super heavy in a relationship. And I'm guilty of this. Sometimes things be super heavy or super serious, and I'm over there laughing. But I'm laughing because sometimes that is a defense mechanism that I have used my entire life. And then I have to explain that to my significant other so they don't think I'm crazy. Like, why the hell is she over there laughing? This is a serious matter. That is a defense mechanism that I also that I use from time to time. But then also with that, I do find a lot of stuff funny. But that might be seen as a flaw to somebody that's dating me. So I have to explain this. So when and if my crazy side, me laughing about stuff that I probably shouldn't be laughing about, comes out, the other person now gives me grace and mercy because they're like, okay, she told me that she does this. I don't like it, but she did tell me that she does this. So I can't really be mad at her because this is a part of her. So I still have to show up and be me. I still have to, share my vulnerabilities. I still have to go out there and date, but just allowing a small piece, allowing him a small window into a piece of my life, he gets a better understanding of who I am. And so each time I'm able to be vulnerable and let down my wall, he's able to say, okay, I understand her a little bit more. It doesn't mean that he likes it, like I said, but he does understand me a little bit more. So by staying present and communicating openly and cherishing your partner, the other person can understand that not only do you cherish the relationship, but they also feel cherished. They also feel seen. They also feel heard. So here are a few ways that you can commit to creating a relationship that evolves over time. This is over time. I talked about literally decades just in these few minutes today. Decades of how a relationship evolves over time. The first thing is to prioritize the relationship. Most people don't even give the relationship and make it a priority. This is one of the things that you have to be realistic about in the beginning. Are you even ready? Do you even have the time and energy to give to a relationship? Can you prioritize the relationship? And being honest with yourself. That way you're not out there wasting your time and somebody else's time. So can you prioritize the relationship? Another thing is embracing growing together. You should absolutely still be growing as an individual. But what about growing together? Are you making sure that both of you are on a very similar journey, growing together, creating new hobbies together? Right? Being able to converse about different subjects, something that you learned that maybe they don't know nothing about, that's you growing, but then also you're bringing this other person along the journey with you. So can you embrace growing together? A third thing is making time for intimacy. Are you willing to make time to be intimate? Intimacy is not 100% always just having sex. It's more to it. It's that vulnerability piece that I was talking about. It is being connected in a way that you haven't been connected with anybody else before. It is sharing your secrets with the other person. It is opening up about your goals with the other person. It is crying with the other person or in front of the other person if it happens. Realizing that crying is a strength, not a weakness. Moving forward. Making time for intimacy. What about, can you be intentional about your love? Being intentional. It's not just can you get the person, can you keep the person? What are you willing to do to keep the person within reason? I'm not saying going out there and committing crimes and all that other stuff to keep the person. No. But can you be intentional about giving and sharing your love? Can you be intentional about receiving love? Aha, that's a big one. A lot of people can give love, but can you and are you ready to receive love in this relationship? And then the other thing is making sure that the two of you are celebrating your journey together. Those milestones that I was talking about earlier, making time to celebrate, whether it's a birthday, whether it's an anniversary, whether it's something, an award that they wanted there at their job or on their career. Can you celebrate your journey together? Can you celebrate that the two of you purchase property? Can you celebrate that the two of you open up a business or you open up two separate businesses? But can you celebrate each other's journey, the journey that you have together, but then also the journey separately, the one that you're creating as an individual? So you're not losing yourself just in case this relationship doesn't work. You still know, you still have your full identity as an individual, not just as so and so's wife or so and so's partner. Who is your identity outside of the relationship? That is what I mean by continuing to grow. So he can celebrate you as you being an individual. And then, if, like I said, celebrating one another as a couple or literally other people celebrating y'all together. So, which are you committing to doing? That's what I want to know. Which one are you committing to doing? You can let me know down in the comments area. Prioritizing your partnership, embracing growth together, making time for intimacy, being intentional about love, giving and receiving it, that is, and then celebrating your journey together. Which one are you committed to? Let me know. Because as I mentioned before, love is a journey, and you do not have to go at this alone. Take the guesswork out of your head and just show up. You have to take actions in order for your relationship to grow, in order for you to stay connected, in order for you to be able to say, I really do love this person. I've been with this person for decades, and I'm still in love with this person. I still love being his fill in the blank, wife, girlfriend, whatever, wherever you're at, long term, marriage, wherever you're at. The point of it is, what are you willing to do to make sure that you can create and be a part of a healthy, loving relationship? It's not just up to the other party. It is, what are you willing to do to make sure that the relationship is continuously thriving? This is why it's so important to make sure that we pick partners that are growing with us, that are on the same page as us, that have the same values as us, that even have similar goals. I'm not even saying 100% the same goals, but there should be some goals in there that the two of you want, sort of like buying property together. Or maybe it's starting a business, or maybe it's having a child or children, whatever. There absolutely should be some shared goals in there, but it will not be 100% across the board when it comes to the goals. The things that I really like my clients to focus on is the values. What values do you have? What values would you like your partner to have? What values can you bring to the table right now? What are the areas of weakness? Being real with yourself. What areas are you weak in that you need to strengthen before you get to the stage of I do, or before you even get to the stage of being real, boyfriend and girlfriend? If you're not ready to date, then don't date. If you want to play and have fun, do you? But if you're trying to be serious, you got to do something different in order to get different results. You must. It is a must. So with that being said, I am done tonight, y'all. Thanks so much for coming. I love you guys, and there's nothing that you can do about it. We on day 29 tomorrow. Day 29 tomorrow out of 30. So I will see you then. All right. Have a great night. Bye-bye now.